Beneath a starless sky, in the vast expanse of an endless desert, a solitary warrior stands motionless, enveloped by an oppressive silence that presses against the soul. This is the darkest hour, a fleeting yet eternal moment where the heart confronts truths too profound to articulate easily. Every human spirit, regardless of time or place, will encounter such moments, not as cruel punishment, but as a sacred summons to awaken to their deepest essence. These are the 7 life tests, ancient and unyielding crucibles that forge the soul's resilience, yet only a rare few will pass to claim their authentic, unfiltered truth. In the myths of antiquity, heroes like Odysseus ventured into the underworld's shadows, seeking the path that would lead them home to their true selves. Lao Tzu, in his timeless wisdom, taught that the Tao flows effortlessly only when we relinquish our futile resistance to life's natural current. Today, psychologists like Viktor Frankl illuminate the profound truth that meaning emerges not from comfort, but from the crucible of suffering endured with purpose. Across cultures and epochs, these tests are woven into the very fabric of existence, universal trials that transcend the physical and demand courage, faith, and surrender from the depths of the soul. The darkest hour, though it cloaks you in shadow, is not your adversary. It is your guide, stripping away illusions to reveal the raw, unyielding truth of who you are beneath the masks. Will you heed its call, stepping boldly into the unknown, trusting that light lies beyond the veil of darkness? The journey begins here, with a single, piercing question. When the desert of your soul beckons with its silent challenge, will you rise to answer? Test 1. Facing the shadow within. Envision a knight standing before a towering stone gate, its surface intricately carved with the menacing visage of a monstrous beast, its eyes piercing the soul with unrelenting intensity. This is the first test, to confront the shadow within, those hidden fragments of yourself, fears, shames, and wounds, that you have long buried beneath layers of denial and pretense. In ancient Egypt, the god Anubis weighed the heart against a single feather, judging its truth with divine impartiality, a ritual that demanded absolute honesty. Carl Jung, in his exploration of the psyche, described this shadow as the unseen self, encompassing doubts, regrets, and flaws we conceal from both the world and our own consciousness. To pass this test, you must step through the gate, not wielding a sword forged of steel, but armed with the courage of unflinching honesty that lays bare your innermost truths. The shadow is not your enemy. It is an integral part of your wholeness, a piece of the mosaic that defines your humanity. Deny it, and it festers in the dark, chaining you to illusions of perfection that stifle your growth and authenticity. Embrace it, and you unlock a transformative power few dare to claim. The freedom to live as your true self, unencumbered by masks. The ancient Greeks, in their timeless wisdom, urged "Know thyself" as the cornerstone of all understanding. Yet how many turn away from this mirror, terrified of the reflection it might reveal? Jung's psychological framework demonstrates that integrating the shadow fosters wholeness, a process of reconciling the self with its darker aspects to achieve inner harmony. Ancient shamans, in rituals across cultures, danced with their inner demons to gain profound insight, embracing the chaos within to find balance and strength. This test is universal, etched into the human experience. To become whole, you must face what you have rejected, acknowledging the parts you've deemed unworthy. The knight stands frozen, heart pounding like a drum, as the beast's eyes whisper softly, "You are enough, just as you are." Yet the ego, loud and insistent, screams for retreat, urging you to cling to the comfort of familiar masks. Your titles, your roles, your carefully curated exterior. This is not a singular battle, but a recurring summons, for life will call you back to this gate repeatedly, each encounter peeling back deeper layers of illusion to reveal new truths. In myths, heroes confronted monstrous foes to claim their destiny, their victories forging them into legends. In life, your monster dwells within, waiting not to be slain but to be understood and embraced. The chosen ones, those who stand resolute, find liberation in their flaws, recognizing the shadow not as a curse, but as a teacher guiding them toward authenticity. Consider a moment when you faced a painful truth, perhaps a failure you hid or a fear you suppressed. Acknowledging it was like stepping through that gate, wasn't it? The pain was real, but so was the liberation that followed, a spark of freedom igniting within. This test lays the foundation for all that follows, for only by knowing yourself, shadow and all, can you endure the trials that lie ahead on this sacred journey. Without this courage, the path stalls before it truly begins, leaving you tethered to illusions that dim your light. So I ask you, when the gate looms before you, its beast staring into your soul, will you flee in fear, or will you muster the courage to face the shadow within? Will you dare to see yourself raw, unfiltered, and whole, embracing every facet of your being? Will you step through, trusting that truth is the first spark that kindles the flame of freedom? Test 2. The silence of the void. Picture a monk perched high on a windswept mountain peak, surrounded by an expanse of absolute silence, where no voices, distractions, or worldly clamor can penetrate the stillness. This is the second test, to embrace the silence of solitude, a sacred space where the soul's voice rises from the depths, unfiltered and true. In Buddhist teachings, the void is not a barren emptiness, but the fertile cradle of enlightenment, a realm where clarity and wisdom take root. Yet for most, silence is a deafening force, a mirror that reflects suppressed fears, lingering regrets, and the echoes of dreams long abandoned. This test builds upon the first, for only by confronting your shadow can you sit with the raw, unadorned truth that solitude reveals, unshielded by the distractions of daily life. Silence strips away the noise of the world, your phone's incessant notifications, your endless responsibilities, the chatter of your restless thoughts, leaving only you, exposed and vulnerable. At first, the stillness is unsettling, stirring memories of choices you regret, wounds you thought healed, or aspirations you buried beneath the weight of practicality. The urge to flee is overwhelming, tempting you to drown the quiet with music, screens, or conversation, anything to escape the void's piercing gaze. But this is the crucible. Can you remain in the discomfort, listening to the soul's whispers that emerge from the silence? Ancient myths resonate with this trial, as Orpheus descended into the underworld's oppressive silence, grappling with his grief in solitude to seek redemption. Native American vision quests sent seekers into the wilderness, where days of isolation opened channels to divine guidance and inner truth. Modern neuroscience reveals that silence activates the brain's default mode network, fostering deep self-reflection, creativity, and emotional clarity. From Zen monasteries to desert hermits, solitude is a universal rite of passage, a sacred gateway to wisdom revered across cultures and epochs. Yet in our hyper-connected world, true silence is a rare and daunting prospect, often avoided for fear of what it might unveil. Consider the story of a young woman, overwhelmed by the chaos of urban life, who retreated to a secluded forest cabin, seeking respite from the noise that drowned her spirit. In the profound stillness, she heard her heart's longing, a call to create art, to live authentically, to reclaim a life aligned with her deepest truth. The silence became her teacher, unveiling patterns of thought, desires she had ignored, and strengths she had overlooked, guiding her toward a path of purpose. This test is a revelation, exposing the contours of your inner world, the truths you've silenced, and the wisdom you've always carried within. The chosen ones embrace the void, not as a desolate loneliness, but as a sacred sanctuary where clarity emerges from chaos, illuminating the path forward. In silence, they hear the soul's quiet whispers, discovering that their inner voice is as vital as the world's clamor, a beacon to guide them through life's trials. This test is a bridge, connecting the courage of self-knowledge to the freedom of release, for only in stillness can you discern what must be let go to move unburdened. So I ask you, when the winds of solitude envelop you, will you flee from the void's embrace, or will you linger to hear the truths it reveals? Will you allow silence to become your guide, whispering the wisdom that has always resided within your soul? Will you trust its stillness to prepare you for the journey that lies ahead? Test 3. Releasing the fire of the past. Envision a sorcerer standing before a roaring fire, its flames dancing wildly, clutching a scroll inscribed with the weight of memories. A lost love, a festering grudge, a dream shattered by time's relentless march. To pass this third test, they must cast the scroll into the flames, releasing what no longer serves their soul's evolution, surrendering to the transformative power of letting go. In the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu teaches Wu Wei, the art of non-attachment, flowing effortlessly with life's natural current rather than resisting its inevitable tides. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna learns to relinquish pride, embracing his duty to transcend the burdens of ego and expectation. This test builds upon the clarity gained in silence, for having faced your shadow and sat with solitude's truth. You now see the chains that bind you, relationships that drain your spirit, expectations that crush your freedom, pain that anchors you to a past no longer yours. Letting go is not an act of defeat, but a profound liberation, a courageous step toward reclaiming your lightness and potential. Yet it is agonizing, for the ego clings desperately to familiarity, fearing the void that change might bring, the uncertainty of a life without its accustomed weights. Imagine grasping at water. It slips through your fingers, no matter how tightly you clench. Life is the same, resisting your control, urging you to release. Modern psychology demonstrates that forgiveness and release rewire neural pathways, reducing stress and fostering resilience, allowing the mind to heal from the scars of holding on too long. Ancient rituals, such as burning offerings in Vedic ceremonies or casting ashes into rivers, symbolize this act of surrender, a universal acknowledgement that to grow, you must shed. Every culture knows this truth. Like a tree in autumn, you must let go of fading leaves, trusting that spring will bring renewal and new growth. Yet the heart resists, whispering doubts. What if I lose myself in the act of letting go? The truth is, you lose only the chains that tether you to stagnation, freeing your soul to soar. This test is a daily practice. For each day, life poses the question: what will you release to move forward unburdened? A grudge that festers in your heart, poisoning your peace? A fear that paralyzes your dreams, keeping you small? An outdated aspiration that no longer aligns with your soul's calling? The sorcerer's hand trembles, the scroll heavy with meaning, but the fire beckons, its warmth promising freedom and transformation. In myths, heroes shed their old selves to claim their destiny, stepping into new roles forged by sacrifice. In life, you shed what burdens you to rise, unencumbered by the past. Recall a moment when you let go, perhaps a toxic friendship that drained your energy or a long-held resentment that clouded your heart. The act was painful, like tearing away a piece of yourself, but didn't it lighten your spirit, creating space for new possibilities? The chosen ones open their hands, casting their scrolls into the flames, creating space for growth, trusting that letting go is an act of faith guided by the clarity of silence. This test prepares you for the storms that lie ahead, for only an unburdened heart can endure the trials to come, resilient and free. So I ask you, what scroll do you clutch tightly in your heart, its weight anchoring you to the past? Will you feed it to the fire, trusting that its ashes will give rise to freedom, or will you let it bind you still? What would your life become if you released its embers, stepping boldly into the unknown, guided by the promise of a lighter, truer self? Test 4. The abyss of despair. Imagine a weary explorer slipping into a fathomless chasm, swallowed by an all-consuming darkness, with only a faint ember glowing faintly within their chest, a fragile beacon against the void. This is the fourth test, the dark night of the soul, a relentless crucible where purpose, identity, and hope crumble, leaving you to face the raw essence of existence. In Christian mysticism, St. John of the Cross described this as a divine purging, a sacred dissolution of the false self to reveal the eternal. In Norse mythology, Odin hung on the world tree Yggdrasil, sacrificing himself to gain profound wisdom, enduring the abyss to transcend it. Having released the burdens of the past, you stand vulnerable, stripped of illusions, and the abyss opens wide, its shadows threatening to engulf your very being. Relationships falter, dreams dissolve into ash, and the world you once knew becomes an alien landscape, unrecognizable and cold. This is not merely external chaos but an internal reckoning, a storm within that fractures your sense of self, exposing the deepest fears you've buried. Why is it so unbearable, this descent into the void? Because it forces you to confront the terror that nothing matters, that you are nothing, that all you've built might be a fleeting illusion. Most recoil, desperately clinging to old comforts, seeking refuge in distractions or denial, unable to bear the weight of such emptiness. Yet this is the test. Can you endure the fire of despair, trusting that it shapes you rather than destroys you? Rollo May, a modern existentialist, argues that despair is a gateway to meaning, a painful passage that strips away falsehoods to reveal authentic purpose. Ancient shamans entered the underworld in sacred rituals, embracing symbolic death to be reborn with newfound wisdom and strength. Every culture honors this death and rebirth cycle, from the sealed tombs of ancient Egypt to the walkabouts of Aboriginal Australia, where the old self is shed to make way for the true. The abyss is a universal rite, a harrowing journey to your deepest essence, yet it feels like annihilation, each step heavier, each breath a battle against the suffocating dark. The chosen ones do not fight the darkness. They surrender to its transformative power, trusting that this breaking is a becoming, a purification of all that is false. They recognize that the abyss burns away the ego's illusions, leaving only the unyielding core of who they are meant to be. Recall a moment of profound loss in your own life, perhaps a career that collapsed or a loved one who slipped away. Didn't the pain, though searing, plant a seed of renewal, a quiet shift towards something truer? The ember within you, however faint, is enough to guide you, a testament to your resilience even in the deepest void. This test is the crucible that reshapes you, forging a heart capable of facing the trials yet to come, unburdened by illusions and anchored in truth. The explorer stumbles, but the ember pulses, whispering, "You are still here, and that is enough." So I ask you, when the abyss engulfs you, its shadows threatening to swallow your light, will you crumble under its weight, or will you trust the ember's fragile glow? Will you let the darkness reshape you, burning away what is false to reveal the eternal essence within? Will you rise, reborn, from the ashes of despair, ready to walk the path that awaits? Test 5. Trusting the invisible light. Picture a wanderer stepping cautiously through a fog so dense it obscures the path entirely, guided only by a subtle inner spark that flickers with quiet assurance in their heart. This is the 5th test: to trust the invisible light when all is uncertain, when the world offers no clarity and doubt clouds every step. In the ancient Vedas, the light of Atman shines within, an eternal beacon unseen by the eyes but felt by the soul. Plato's allegory of the cave speaks of trusting a truth beyond the shadows, a reality that transcends the illusions of the material world. Having endured the abyss, you now face a subtler, yet profound challenge. Can you believe in what you cannot see, stepping forward into the unknown with unwavering faith? Faith, in this context, is not blind optimism or wishful thinking. It is the courage to move forward despite the fog of uncertainty that shrouds your future, your purpose, and your place in the world. The fog tempts you to halt, to demand guarantees or visible signs before taking another step, for the ego craves certainty in a world that rarely provides it. Yet this test asks you to trust the unseen forces guiding your journey, to take the next step without knowing where it leads, relying on the spark within to illuminate the way. The wanderer's spark is faint, barely perceptible, yet it whispers with quiet conviction. The path exists, even if you cannot see it now. Modern psychology, through Mihai Csikszentmihalyi's concept of flow, demonstrates that trusting the process unlocks creativity, resilience, and a sense of alignment with life's rhythm. Ancient mystics, fasting in desolate deserts, were guided by visions that spoke to their souls, leading them through uncertainty to profound insight. Every human soul encounters moments of doubt, where the outcome is unclear and fear threatens to paralyze. Yet faith, quiet and steadfast, carries them forward. This is not about ignoring fear or pretending the fog does not exist. It is about walking alongside fear, knowing you are supported by forces greater than yourself, unseen but ever present. Recall a time in your own life when you acted without certainty. Perhaps a career change, a leap into a new relationship, or a decision to follow a dream despite the risks. That leap, however small, was guided by the invisible light, wasn't it? The chosen ones nurture this spark, allowing it to grow into a steady flame that lights their path through the densest fog. They understand that faith is not the absence of uncertainty, but the resolve to move through it, trusting that each step reveals the path bit by bit. This test prepares you for the surrender that follows, for only by trusting the unseen can you release the need to control your journey's course. So I ask you, when the fog of uncertainty surrounds you, obscuring the road ahead, will you wait for a clarity that may never come, paralyzed by doubt? Or will you trust the invisible light within, stepping forward with the courage to believe it will guide you home? Will you let faith, quiet and unyielding, become the beacon that illuminates your path through the unknown? Test 6. Surrendering to the eternal flow. Envision a rower setting down their oars, relinquishing control, allowing the river's powerful current to carry them through uncharted waters, where the horizon remains hidden in mystery. This is the 6th test, to surrender to the eternal flow, releasing the need to steer every aspect of your life's journey. In Taoism, the principle of Wu Wei teaches alignment with life's natural rhythm, moving effortlessly with its tides rather than fighting against them. The Sufi poet Rumi writes of dissolving into the divine stream, becoming one with the universe's boundless current. Having trusted the invisible light, you now face the ultimate act of faith. Can you let go completely, surrendering not just outcomes, but the very need to define your path? Surrender feels counterintuitive, even like defeat, in a world that glorifies control, achievement, and the relentless pursuit of certainty, where clinging to the oars seems the only way to stay afloat. Yet fighting the river's current exhausts you, draining your strength as you battle a force far wiser than your plans. This test asks you to release not only external outcomes, success, relationships, ambitions, but also the internal need to know who you are or where you're going, to define yourself by rigid identities. The rower's heart races, fearing they might drown in the unknown. Yet the river flows with purpose, its wisdom guiding where the ego cannot. Neuroscience reveals that letting go of control activates relaxation pathways in the brain, reducing stress and fostering a state of calm alignment with the present moment. Ancient rituals, such as floating offerings on sacred rivers in Hindu traditions, symbolize surrender, an act of trust in the universe's benevolence. Every culture recognizes this truth. To live fully, you must yield, allowing life to unfold without resistance. The chosen ones do not resist the current. They merge with it, becoming one with its rhythm, trusting its wisdom to lead them where they are meant to be. This test is a lifelong practice. For each day, life asks you to release something. A plan that failed, a fear that grips you, an identity that no longer fits your soul's growth. In moments of surrender, perhaps losing a job, abandoning a goal, or accepting a change, you may find unexpected paths opening, new possibilities emerging from the act of letting go. The rower's breath steadies, their body relaxing into the river's embrace, carried by a force greater than themselves. This test prepares you for the final awakening, for only by surrendering can you fully embrace the truth of your existence. So I ask you, when the river of life pulls you into its current, will you fight its flow, clinging to control, or will you set down your oars, trusting it knows the way? Will you surrender to the eternal flow, releasing the need to steer, and allow the universe to guide you to where you belong? Will you let go, becoming one with the rhythm that pulses through all things? Test 7. Awakening to the eternal flame. Picture a seeker standing atop a windswept mountain, their heart ablaze with a radiant fire, merging seamlessly with the boundless light of the cosmos that stretches infinitely before them. This is the 7th test. To awaken to the eternal flame, to realize that you are not separate from life, but its very essence, a spark of the divine woven into the fabric of existence. In the Upanishads, the ancient sages taught that Atman, the individual soul, is one with Brahman, the universal consciousness, an unbroken unity beneath the illusion of separation. In Greek mythology, Prometheus stole fire from the gods, igniting humanity's spirit with the spark of divine potential. Having surrendered to the eternal flow, you now stand at the threshold of truth. You are the light you have sought all along. Awakening is not a singular moment, but a gradual unfolding, a peeling away of the veils that have obscured your true nature throughout your journey. You have searched for meaning in external markers, titles, achievements, the fleeting approval of others, believing they would fill the void within. Yet this test reveals a profound truth. Purpose does not lie outside you. It resides within, an eternal flame that burns regardless of the world's judgments. You are not a lone spark, isolated and fleeting, but part of the cosmic fire, connected to the stars in the night sky, the trees that sway in the wind, and every beating heart that shares this existence. This realization shatters the illusions of separation, freeing you from the chains of fear, longing, and the relentless pursuit of something more. Abraham Maslow's work on self-actualization describes this state as transcending the ego, where you live fully in the present, embodying your highest potential with grace and authenticity. Ancient mystics, from Sufi poets to Buddhist monks, meditated for years to merge with the divine, dissolving the boundaries between self and universe. Every human soul yearns for this truth, glimpsed in moments of awe, when a sunset steals your breath, a child's laugh warms your heart, or a quiet moment reveals the interconnectedness of all things. The chosen ones live this truth, not chasing happiness as a distant goal, but embodying it in every step, every breath, every moment they inhabit. This test challenges you to shed the final masks, to release the last vestiges of the false self, and to live as the eternal flame, radiant and whole. Awakening transforms how you see the world. A stranger's smile becomes a reflection of your own light, a breeze's touch a reminder of your connection to the earth. In myths, heroes who reached this state became legends, their lives a testament to the divine spark within. In life, you become a quiet beacon, illuminating the path for others simply by being. The seeker's fire burns bright, untouched by doubt, its warmth radiating outward to touch the world. Yet awakening is not an end, but a beginning, for each day invites you to live this truth anew, to see the world through eyes unclouded by illusion. Recall a moment when you felt truly alive, perhaps in nature, in love, or in creation. Didn't you sense the flame within, burning with purpose? This test is the culmination of your journey, yet it opens a new path, one where you walk as both seeker and sage, fully present, fully whole. So I ask you, will you continue searching for meaning in the external world? Or will you claim the eternal flame that burns within your soul? Will you awaken to the profound truth that you are life itself, whole, eternal, and inextricably woven into the cosmos? Will you live as the light, illuminating the world with every step you take? Conclusion: the journey never ends. Around a blazing fire under a starlit sky, travelers gather, their stories weaving a shared radiance that pulses with the heartbeat of humanity. These 7 tests, facing the shadow within, embracing the silence of the void, releasing the fire of the past, enduring the abyss of despair, trusting the invisible light, surrendering to the eternal flow, and awakening to the eternal flame, are not endpoints, but sacred doorways to a deeper truth. They form the timeless path of the soul, walked by heroes and mystics, from Egypt's ancient pyramids to the quiet forests of indigenous tribes, each step a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. From Prometheus, who gifted divine fire to humanity, to modern seekers finding meaning in chaos, our quest remains, to uncover light within the darkest hours. Each test strips away illusion, revealing your eternal essence, a spark undimmed by life's trials. Yet the journey continues, an ever-unfolding spiral, for life will summon you back to these crucibles, each encounter revealing a truer self. You are not alone, for every heart shares this path, linked in a cosmic dance that binds past, present, and future. Carry your light forward, letting it guide you through fog, rivers, and fires of transformation. The world needs your radiance, not in grand gestures, but in the quiet courage of living awake, true to the truth within. By walking this path, you become a beacon, illuminating the way for others, your story a spark that kindles hope. So I ask you, will you tread this unending path, knowing you are life experiencing itself? Will you rise, again and again, to become who you were always meant to be?